find distressing.
Police emergency, warning markers for firearms.
Get on the ground!
Block it in, block it in, block it in.
He's now off in the field.
Derbyshire's traffic cops.
It's 165. Try and keep up with it.
Battling crime in the middle of the country.
Open the door now!
He smashed down a bollard.
Face down now. I ain't done nothing.
From the picturesque peaks
Vehicle RTC.
Treating it as life-threatening.
to the inner cities.
Yeah, it's done, mate. Near side. He's going to decamp. It's a decamp, 4 runners.
Under threat
You do what I tell you. Do not put your hands anywhere near your pockets.
and at risk.
Watching. Box on. Run 2 traffic cars now.
Around every corner,
Don't bother.
there's a new challenge
Hands on the wall!
for the traffic cops. Coming up,
Now lane 3. Seatbelt stop.
young drivers putting lives at risk on the roads.
Is there a stinger? Should it come off at 34?
A search for a wanted man comes to a crashing end.
Full vehicle RTC. 3 motorbikes and 1 car.
A horrendous smash leaves a motorcyclist's life in the balance.
Veered across the road straight into him.
It looks terrible.
Rocks on.
And the traffic cops swoop on a suspected car thief and are shocked to find he's only 17.
Who's you been stopped, mate? That car's been reported stolen, okay?
Yep. Putting everybody's lives at risk on the road, driving them speeds.
Do you want me to go a bit further down, just in case?
Yeah, you could do, yeah.
On the M1, 25 miles north of Derby, Sergeant Scott Riley and his team are looking for a young suspect who's on the run from the police.
Just at 29 Alpha, I'll go up the slip.
Look for a blue 3 Series Chevy. I think it goes past.
With around 3 million young drivers on the UK's roads, policing them is a round-the-clock challenge.
When you're dealing with young people, it does bring another element to the job. It matters not whether they've been involved in crime or whether what they've done is ridiculous and against the law. I've got a duty of care.
So we're just going to put ourselves on an observation ramp and we're looking for a 3 Series BMW where there's a wanted male on board from Bolton. It's just a little bit further down the M1. We've got Dan in place at junction 30 to try and sight it. So we're just going to see if it comes past us.
Possibility,
Looks like he's sighted it.
Just this one now coming past you, Scott.
Yep, definitely is.
Yeah, sorry. Contact this vehicle. M1, 29 after, northbound.
Yeah, definitely was that one.
We're still on a couple lights stop up at 30, Sarge.
Yes, of course, then we've got plenty of units should it fail stop to pick it up after us, so yes.
While Scott and Dan tail the suspect, other units rush to support them.
So the tactics we're going to use is we're both in unmarked cars, which is quite handy. Dan's going to show himself out, put a police follow me on.
With the 2 unmarked cars closing in, the BMW driver increases his speed.
100, lane 3, somewhere. And now the eliminated vehicle is now lane 3, just about to stop half a mile from junction 30.
Yeah, when the other units are with us, are we okay to do a get by and then try and put some tactics on?
Yes, that's trying to get every passing PA for you as well. Thank you, speed is 130, lane 3. We're going for a keep on chaps at the next exit.
Yes. Dan's going to cover off the slip road at 31 to keep him on the motorway.
If the suspect turns off the motorway, it'll be much harder for the officers to stop him.
Stand by, blocking my path. Stand by, go for a keep on.
He wants to try and lose us on the A roads. He knows that while ever he's going on the motorway, we're going to be able to get tactics in place You could tell from the manner of his driving that he's willing to take any risk to get away from the police.
300 yards, 200 yards, 100 yards. Stand by.
Go on, Dan. Keep them on, yep.
The tactics pay off, and they force the BMW to stay on the motorway.
FG Scott.
Lane 2, speed 130.
Such reckless speed means the officers need to end the chase quickly.
It is lane 3, speed is 110.
10 minutes into the pursuit,
We have South Yorkshire now.
the suspect driver is heading out of Derbyshire.
South Yorkshire aware and monitoring.
Yes, we are forming resources 34 north. If you can keep it travelling north, please.
Yes, junction 34 north.
Once again, the BMW driver goes for an escape route.
Yeah, he's looking to try and get off at 33. We're going to try and keep him on. Yeah, is there a stinger? Should it come off at 34? Yes, we're trying to do the keep on at 34.
Yes, it's 200 yards, 100 yards, lane 1, straddling lane 2. Stand by. Stand by.
End pass, yes, and it's committed at junction 34 of the M1.
With the exit blocked, the chase heads into South Yorkshire.
South Yorkshire units in position.
Yeah, it's another 3 cars just back in south. Committed, past 35 northbound.
As they approach an exit, the suspect has another chance to escape.
Yeah, it's coming off the
Off, at 35 Alpha. Stand by, on the approach to the RA.
So we're now letting South Yorkshire take over the
Jones,
pursuit.
coming up behind you, we'll do a single lane keep on, mate.
It's now South Yorkshire's area. So we've got
What's the
5
ETA?
cars with us.
Please.
A police helicopter is on its way to help keep track of the BMW.
We can see from the road conditions that they're now slippy. We can drop back and let the helicopter take it, which is a great news.
As they enter a clear stretch of road, the officers make their move. Desperate to escape, the suspect rams the police car.
Juliet 5A South cancelled. I'm moving ground all the time.
Pass him to me.
I'm amazed that there's 4 males in that car. Why you would drive at that speed when you're carrying passengers is absolutely beyond me. If that vehicle had flipped, rolled, been involved in a crash, that's 4 fatalities waiting to happen.
A 20-year-old driver is detained, together with 3 passengers, one of whom is just 17 years old.
This is driver.
That one's driving.
Did I manage to make it that far?
I've no idea, mate.
Me,
No
what
idea.
though? I take it you know where we're from.
You've got no idea,
Yeah. Do you reckon we would have had the chance of making it back there? Never.
Yeah, can you give me a description of the wanted male, please?
He's got a cut, large scar near elbow, right arm. Tribal tattoo, right arm.
You got any tattoos on you? None at all, none on your arms? You got a driving license, pal? If he's not the wanted male, we'll take him for dangerous driving. Take him back to Derbyshire and sort him for that.
Yeah.
Like I say, we'll get a search of the car done, see what, and then we can make a decision on the others based on that. Yeah.
The young driver isn't the wanted suspect, but he is unlicensed and uninsured, and he's arrested for dangerous driving.
They're not caring to get insurance, not caring to pass the driving test. They are driving recklessly, day in, day out.
Apparently, possibly some cannabis in there.
Okay, yeah, we'll sort that.
With small amounts of cannabis found and damage to a police car, the young suspect is going to the police station. But his passengers, including the 17-year-old, leave Scott with a problem.
I'm now in a situation where I've got a juvenile from Bolton. We've taken the car off him. I've now got to work out how we're going to get them back safely, because ultimately, until they're at home safe, it's my responsibility.
The passengers are taken to a local service station to arrange their way home.
In this case, I've got enough confidence that they were all friends and they were going to look after the one that was under 18.
Sign on there. Just there, pal. Just say that you've received the warning.
Traffic cop Dan Mitchell is dealing with one of them for possession of cannabis.
We're seeing ever present at the minute. They're in these little, like, sweet type bags, so they look more appealing to the younger person for the cannabis. And there's probably, I don't know, a gram or two just in there. I don't know if you can see it. Just little bits of bud. Very strong.
Dealing with a car in close quarters at M speeds is frightening. You are acutely aware that you are in a car doing over 100 miles an hour. To go to those lengths for just no documents, it's frightening, really, because what he's done is absolutely dangerous.
Coming up.
Yeah, for information, they're working on one female now on the floor.
A shocking crash leaves a motorcyclist fighting for her life.
It's not looking particularly good.
She's halfway.
Yeah, right, all right, no worries.
And a young car driver's facing serious questions.
Do you use cannabis or cocaine?
I had some last night. A little bit of cocaine.
Derbyshire Police Control Room. How many vehicles are involved?
Derbyshire Police deal with nearly 2,000 accidents on the roads every year, many of which involve young drivers.
Yeah, we'll get officers there as soon as we can.
Full vehicle RTC, 3 motorbikes and 1 car.
Traffic cop Andy Swift is responding to an urgent call about a potentially fatal crash.
We've got 1 unconscious person involved. We've got EMAS travelling as a Cat 1 and Helimed are also on the way.
We'll probably be first on scene, I would imagine, unless the local officers get there slightly before. Motorbike involved collision, unfortunately. That's the nature of the beast. People come round here because it's lovely roads to ride, but sometimes come a cropper through either their own fault or the fault of other drivers.
Derbyshire gets a lot of motorbikes. They come from all over, sort of flood in from hundreds of miles away. I would say that when we do have motorbike incidents on some of the roads, they usually don't end up very positively. You are not going to come off the winner against a car, because it's a big metal box at the end of the day, and that's always going to win.
Yes, I found it. Ambulance is here, NA, for information. Yes, mate, vehicle, stop. Yeah, for information, they're working on one female now on the floor. They've got the machine that gives the chest compressions. I can't speak with them as to what's happening at the moment, because obviously they're sorting it out. Obviously, it's not looking particularly good.
There's a group of 5, and 3 have gone through safely. 2 have been wiped out, and then the others have come back.
Also at the scene and leading the investigation is Sergeant Scott Riley.
Experience tells you when you turn up at a scene like that, you can see that doctors are doing CPR, they're doing the chest compressions. I know that we're going to lock the scene down for probably 4 to 5 hours, if not longer. It's on a stretch of road to one of Derbyshire's biggest tourist attractions on a sunny Sunday evening.
With an air ambulance on its way, paramedics are working on a woman on the road, and her husband is nearby with a leg injury.
Which motorbike were you? The ready one at the front? Yeah, okay. Yeah, you've been involved in this, have you on the bikes?
She's halfway.
Yeah, right, all right, no worries.
He hit her head on. He was coming down the road, hit the grass verge, and he veered across the road straight into her.
As the air ambulance arrives, the victim's condition is critical.
They're a large group of motorcyclists. Hello. Yeah, I'd assumed as much. Yeah, it's just for information. I've just been approached by one of the, I think he's the doctor. He said it's most likely going to be fatal.
Andy needs to speak to the 27-year-old driver to find out how the accident occurred.
Oh, sorry. You're the person driving, is that all right? Okay, mate. Yeah, no, is there anyone else with you at all? No. All right.
If you look at where the bike is and where the car is, and it is quite clear that the car's travelled onto the wrong side of the road and it's picked up that first motorcyclist.
It looks like she's not going to survive, I'll be honest. It looks terrible. Sometimes better to not see. You know what I mean? Yeah. Alright.
We need to subtly and discreetly just take the person that's caused it off to one side, sit them in a sterile area, because they are a suspect for our investigation.
Mate, you have to sit in my car, mate. It's just easy, mate. Get your hat away. All right, you sit in there, mate, yeah? To go, first off, mate, just what's happened, basically.
Coming along here, like I've driven this road loads of
Yeah, right.
Just ended up going up this grass bank. I've just gone to the left too much on the road.
Right.
I've lost concentration or...
Right.
I have had, had one pint.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, mate. Well, that don't mean...
I'm just...
Yeah, you've been honest, mate. I appreciate that. I totally appreciate that. Have you ever done a breathalyzer or a drug swipe before? Because you've been involved in a road traffic collision, okay. There's a requirement at the roadside initially to provide a sample of breath and also a sample of saliva, okay. Wait, right. Blow into it as hard as you can. Go on. There you are. 0, mate. Bob on. That's what we like to see in it. 0. So that's all good, mate. Okay. Do you use cannabis or cocaine?
I had some last night. A little bit of cocaine.
Right. Okay. All right. So you just need to open your mouth and stick your tongue out. It's not invasive. Just put your tongue out. Like that, at the side of your mouth. Oops, stop, let me get there. And this side. And your tongue again. So, put it in there, like that.
I think that's positive for cocaine. What do you think? I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Very, very slight, but it is, isn't it? He's already admitted he's had it last night.
Yeah, that's it.
They just confirmed the female deceased, 1755.
Yeah, unfortunately, the lady's been declared deceased at the roadside by the doctor. And as at this time, the lad's failed for cocaine as well. So he'll be taken to custody where he'll have to give an evidential sample, but he's going to be arrested for causing death by dangerous driving.
Right, there's the drug swipe. Unfortunately, as you can see, there's very slightly come back for cocaine. You can see there's an extremely small line there at the bottom, okay? So at this time, you're under arrest for 2 offences, okay? One of which is driving a motor vehicle whilst over describing it for a substance, namely cocaine, okay? And the other one might be a shock to you. You're also under arrest on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. Fortunately, the lady is now deceased. So, what's going to happen, mate? Right, we're not going to... I know you're not a bad lad. Is that all right? We don't want to hear any more about it. You're under caution now, so your chance to explain what's gone off will be an interview, all right? Where you can have legal representation from the solicitors and so forth, all right?
It's now been pronounced dead at 5 to 6. So
5
just
to
got
6,
to tell him. He's fully aware, he's ringing his son now.
Are you listening? Has not made it. A car has been all over the road. She's hit it, and she's... Listen, I need you to be strong from it.
And it's particularly traumatic.
It is a particularly traumatic one, isn't it?
Especially with all the friends and everything.
And that's what always makes it worse, isn't it? And actually,
So,
because it's clear to see they are so innocent in what's happened. Thank you, Kev. Cheers, mate.
The car driver is taken to the police station to be interviewed.
It's a horrendous scene. You've got the lady herself, who's a victim of the crash, and she's riding with her husband and the best friend. And to have those present at the scene and to see them going through what they're going through, that's upsetting for any police officer, any member of the emergency service to sit and watch. And ultimately, you know that at that time, their life is about to be destroyed. I'm not going to go through everything that you've been through. Officers have got your contact details, is that correct? Okay. Now, you can see looking at that vehicle that every single airbag has gone off in that car. You can see the heavy front impact to the vehicle, and you can also see on the windscreen what we call is the bullseye, which is where the casualty has first impacted with that car, and then she's been pushed onto the side and into the verge. It's a really horrible incident, and you can see from the damage to that vehicle that the injuries that will cause to the human body is unsurvivable. It's really, really sad for the family of the deceased, because there is absolutely nothing that she could have done to avoid that oncoming vehicle.
Coming up. A 17-year-old learns a tough lesson.
That car's been reported stolen, okay?
Really? Yep.
Watch for the decal.
And lorry thieves are brought to justice.
Open the door! Get out!
That vehicle has hit AMPR cameras 2 minutes ago.
Has he got past Ripley yet?
At the start of a 12-hour night shift, traffic cops Adam Shipley and Nick Rice have received an immediate alert for a stolen car being driven by a young suspect.
And it's quite commonplace. You come on, all these plans, what you want to do, and then you turn your radio on and you're pretty much straight out to a job. Yeah, there's been a stolen car from South Yorkshire come down the motorway, so we think it's around this bit of road.
No sign of it as yet. Approaching Ripley.
Stolen cars, like the one being tracked, are often transported by young men and later used by organised gangs to commit further crimes.
Unknown who's driving it, we don't know where they're going, if they've got anything in the car, if there's how many people in the car, if there's a team of people, if they're using that stolen car to come and commit some crime, we just don't know. From Sierra 3, possible contact, just passing the entry slit in lane 2.
As Adam keeps an eye on the suspect from a distance, Nick and other units are close by in case there's a chase.
Yeah, it's in lane 2 still. Can't confirm if it's the subject vehicle. It's speed probably 70. Obviously I'm in a marked vehicle, so depending on how observant he is, we'll be aware of my presence. Our ultimate aim is to get that vehicle to 0 miles an hour and get the driver and anybody else in the car detained safely. We're just trying to get the unmarked cars at the moment up ahead to try to confirm it's the subject vehicle. Just waiting for some more marked cars. And we'll look at doing some preemptive tactics on it. It's going to be the one. It's speed 95 miles an hour. The car is edging towards 100. That makes it a lot more difficult for us to safely do tactics on it due to the speeds involved.
Now with a total of 6 units following the BMW, the team are closing in.
We're going to hopefully get an opportunity to take it at the lights. We've got enough units with us. We don't want to keep following it. Our plan is to basically take the driver by surprise. Hopefully he's not aware of our unmarked cars and we can get a stop before he's even had time to think what's going on.
The junction ahead gives the officers an ideal chance to strike.
It's a traffic light control roundabout. And, we need a bit of luck sometimes. Before he knew what was happening, he had, Audis and BMWs everywhere he looked. He was surrounded by police cars and cops. And he was completely shocked by it all, I think.
Okay. Please, you've been stopped, mate. That car's been reported stolen, okay?
Really? Yep. No, we don't start like this if you're not wearing your seatbelt, do we? Sit in the back of there, my friend. We'll get you to custody, and so we only speak to you in a little bit.
It stinks of cannabis as well.
Okay, we'll get him drug work, don't we?
The young driver is just 17 years old and hasn't even passed his driving test.
Not much more than a kid, basically. If you get involved in a pursuit or something with somebody that age, they're not experienced, they don't know what they're doing behind the wheel. They can crash, they could hurt themselves, they could hurt somebody else. It's a relief that you've got him cuffed up without anybody being hurt. He stinks of cannabis, so we're going to give him a drug wipe as well, see if he's got placed the cannabis in his system that might impair his driving, come to work better really. I mean, that is like precision driving by PC Rice here. Just have a look at that at the distance. Have a look at that at the distance. Yeah, that's a toit box.
Doesn't happen like that very often.
Before being booked into custody, there's a result from the driver's drug test.
Right, so yeah, so also tested positive for cannabis. So another offence to add to his list. Right, stay there for a minute. Obviously, mate, I don't know if my colleagues told you, you've tested positive for cannabis, so you're further under arrest, suspicion of driving what's over the specified limit for drugs, only cannabis, and also when they've looked in the car, they found some cannabis, what clears cannabis. So you're further under arrested on suspicion of possession of cannabis. Not typical, quite calm and quite polite. But, you know, he's up to no good, isn't he? Putting everybody's lives at risk on the road, driving them speeds under the influence of cannabis in a stolen car, not even qualified to drive. We've obviously not asked him any questions, but he's volunteered that he basically didn't know the car was stolen and somebody told him it was totally legit to drive. He just seems quite a naive young lad, to be fair. Just looks a bit out of his depth and a bit overwhelmed by it all. He's not massively older than my kids, to be fair. Thankfully, he's 17, he has got his whole life in front of him, and hopefully what's happened to him tonight will make him realise you know, what can happen, the consequences of his actions.
Tell a parent that we've been arrested, that's the problem. To get you in and out as soon as possible. Yeah. Okay. You still don't like juveniles because of the banana.
This is not the place for you, this isn't, mate. I know what's happened, this is not the place for you.
So we'll be doing everything we can to get you out of here, okay?
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Get you gone as soon as I can, yeah? Genuinely do hope that he sorts himself out and makes something of his life and just doesn't get involved in the drugs and people taking advantage of him, because if he does, he's going to have no future at all. Big world out there, lots of possibilities for you, just need to take them. Yeah? All right, you take care, won't you? All right, mate. See you later.
Out on the motorways, young drivers are being targeted as part of a national crackdown on thefts from HGVs.
I'll come up to 25 then.
Halfway through a night shift, traffic cop Matt Cooling and his colleagues are on the lookout for a suspect Volvo.
Luke from 29, half a mile from 27, so I'll be coming up behind you shortly.
The car has been seen at the site of various thefts over previous weeks, including an incident just 2 nights earlier.
We're looking for spotter vehicles that are going to be going up and down the network, looking for lorries to, you know, break into and have a look what they can steal from them. Might be 3 or 4 in a car. They'll go up and down all the lay-bys and services. Generally look for curtain siders because they can cut them open, see what the load is. And if it's worth nicking, they'll call up the lorry to come park next to him and offload.
Lane 2 approach, coming 27. Definitely got 2 people.
A call comes in from traffic cop Luke Christian, who is behind the suspect Volvo.
I think it's probably just going to sit in lane 2.
Luke's behind a vehicle that's linked to an barrack job. It's just come down south on the M1, come off at 27 and done a loop, and now it's back on the M1 north.
Within minutes, 5 police cars are tailing the Volvo, and the cops decide to try and box it in on the motorway.
Luke from 29, behind you.
We see that once we've got another car with us, we're going to have to look for potentially boxing it in lane 2. I'll go to the front, 20, take off side, 29, take near side, 23, take rear.
With 4 cars for the box and a safety car behind blocking traffic, the team are ready to strike.
Get move up, move up, move up. Box on, box on.
Jump out for me. Just jump out. Sorry, mate. You've been detained because this vehicle is linked to theft from lorries. Just keep your hands out of your pockets, mate. Okay, so we're going to search the vehicle and you, see if you're going equipped to steal. Do you understand?
Perfectly fine.
Okay.
What are you up to? I've just been to a bird's house. Oh, that's good. She nice. She's alright to be fair.
We're going to take you off the motorway and we're going to put you in another car. Ned, can he go in your car? Because I've got no room in mine. Well, we'll take him off. I've searched him, Ned.
The suspects will be taken to the nearest services for a thorough search, so the road can be reopened.
The one I've searched got nothing on him other than a bit of money in. But we need to search the vehicle. So we'll take it off at the next junction where it's safe. You know, if anything, we've disturbed a group of spotters because the vehicle is linked to, you know, lorry thefts.
At the services, officers run checks on the suspects and the car.
Insurance, mate. I paid insurance, mate. I've got to phone, yeah. I'll get you a number for the insurance, mate. What? Who carries these certificates? Insurance for them? No one. No one. No one. Car's insured, boys. I paid for it. What have I done wrong? Done nothing wrong. It's insured. Take it, piss. That's fully insured, mate.
Obviously, we've got no evidence to arrest him of any offence tonight, or the driver can't prove that his car's insured, ultimately. So, because it's not insured, we're going to seize it.
Well, do you want to take it just so we can't do it else?
I mean, ultimately, it's really good disruption for us tonight. For them, we know, you know, the types of things that intelligence links those individuals to, and this car. So, you know, hopefully they'll eventually start getting the message that, you know, each time they come into Derbyshire, they're going to get stopped or identified, and hopefully at some point they'll stop coming.
Good luck, girls. See you, girls. See you, mate.
You know, they're released, they're free to go, but hopefully good disruption. You know, we've took the car off them for the fact they can't prove it's insured, and now they've got a long trip back up to Leeds.
We're now committed, lane 1, junction 28 northbound.
Back on the M1 near Chesterfield, traffic cops Luke Christian and Carl Jackson are searching for a suspicious truck.
Erlock Barrick, a van that's dodgy, that's on ANPR, is a different type of van to the one that the number plates are on.
Luke and other officers prepare to stop the lorry.
I have directed the ICO to a suggestion is that the vehicles up ahead create a slow rolling roadblock to generate enough traffic and be able to bring the vehicle to a natural stop or approach the vehicle in that manner. Stand by.
With officers slowing the traffic down, Carl still playing catch-up on the other side of the motorway.
Bring the traffic to a complete stop, blockers.
So this is the block they've put on.
Whilst the traffic is held back, Luke and the team move in for a strike.
Safety's on, go for it.
Go, go, go.
Slowing. In the marks up, stand by.
Be careful, mate, because he might try and ram his way out of us.
Watch for the decam.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the runners.
Get out now! Open the door now! Open the door! Get out! Get out and open the door now! Stop now!
Hand behind your back, lad. Whoa. Get your hands behind your back. What are you doing? Keep your hands behind your back. 2-5, I've got the passenger. Whoa, what's going on, mate? You're a thief, mate, that's what you are. I haven't been doing nothing. Hands, mate.
Yeah, we've got 215.
The passenger is the same young man arrested by the team a few weeks earlier.
Serious, you are sharp up hurting my hands, mate. Nothing. Can you all loosen them? In a sec, we will, yeah.
While the young man and the truck driver are detained,
Can we check the rear?
Luke searches the back of the lorry for stolen goods.
Children's cycle helmets. So, 16 boxes of cycle helmets. Reasonable.
With the suspects facing questioning at the station, Carl's arrived to help Luke get the vehicle recovered.
It's a stolen truck from West Yorkshire. Stolen in the last month or so, I think it was. Although it's an older truck, it'd be worth some money to someone. So it's good to get that recovered and stolen goods in the back as well, which you don't always get.
Helmets for horse riding.
Thefts from trucks have risen rapidly in recent years, and around £8 million worth of goods are stolen every month.
We get a lot of these jobs, we deal with them loads, so we know what we're looking for now. Obviously it's their unlucky day for them, lucky day for us.
Coming up,
Just have a word with him.
a hungry driver bites off more than he can chew.
So the drawer of a McDonald's burger was Major steal a car. Going a bit quick.
In Derbyshire, traffic cop Carl Jackson is on patrol looking out for young drivers.
Just have a word with him. Flying down there, didn't he?
Carl's 15 miles north of Derby, in Alfreton, and wants to speak to the driver of a Ford Focus.
I kind of look at vehicles in a similar way you look at people and the body language of it, and just by the way it came past in that split second makes me think I need to stop it. How are you? Living the dream and all that?
Yeah, literally just going back home now, mate.
Ah, you're in a hurry to get into bed?
Not really, no.
Mate,
Why?
you're going a bit quick there, pal.
Yeah, I know, I was, wasn't I?
Have you got your licence on you, mate? Is it your motor? Is it? Does she know you're driving it like that? She'll be telling you off. She'll be banning your front bedroom if she catches you driving like that. Have you got a full licence? No? Mate, you might as well tell me that from the start, hadn't you? Does she know you're in this car?
Yeah, no, she don't know.
So you've taken it without her consent?
Yeah, I'm just talking about it.
Well, that's even worse, isn't it? Tell you what, let's give her a call, right, and speak to her, because it's her car and you've technically nicked it off her. All right, give her a ring. You can get out, mate. You can go if you want, pal. You're not involved, are you? You're just riding shotgun.
Baby girl.
Yeah, you could do, couldn't you?
I've just been pulled onto state. No.
Let me just speak to her.
Yeah.
It's police. I've caught your fella that you're probably going to fall out with now, driving a bit silly, and he's obviously in your car. Did you? You're asleep. Your fella's mate's just come into the house because your babies are there asleep, so you can walk around the corner and get this car and drive it back onto your driveway. But yeah, so come around and get your car.
Ask her to bring me a fag.
He says bring him a fag. I wouldn't. He's nicked your car. All right. See ya. Bye. How old are you?
I'm 23, mate. 24 nearly.
You think you'd know better, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You've committed a couple of offences. No insurance, no licence offences, yeah?
I thought I was on air insurance, but I said that's the only thing anyway next to her. But
Yeah, you're not insured if you're driving with your mate next to you and you've got no L plates on and you've stolen a car. It don't work that way. Where have you been?
It's literally, I went up to Mackey's, had some eggs and that, and then I come back. Starving.
Is that what you went for? You could have walked. You could have walked there.
I know. I'm stupid, man. Stupid.
So the temptation, the draw of a McDonald's burger was major steal a car.
Yeah.
You've obviously caught me in a good mood because I haven't seized your car because it's not your car.
It's been a big bill, hasn't it?
It would have been a massive bill, hundreds and hundreds of pounds to get it back. You've got a young family, so you don't need the extra cost, do you? So I've been a bit generous there, but your honesty's done that. Oh, who's this? Is this the lucky lady?
Yeah.
I'll give you the key for this then. You can take it home. It's up to you if you make him walk. I'd make him walk.
Cheers, pal.
Thank you.
Nice one for that, mate.
Yeah, all right. A little unusual that. I've let that go home. He's just been an idiot. There's no necessity to arrest him. I might as well let him go home and I'll go and find some criminals. So he'll get hefty fines for the twat from the court. He'll be fined for no insurance and no licence and find himself with points that will cost him money as well. So it's been an expensive McDonald's. Young drivers are kind of blamed for a lot of things, really. People always mention young drivers as being at fault for various things because of their inexperience, and there's an element of that. As you get life experience driving on the road, you kind of perhaps mellow out a bit as you get older and drive more sensibly.
I think people that age, they're just oblivious to the risk, or they're not bothered, and they just treat it like a game. But it can so quickly change from being a bit of a laugh to having the police chasing you to death and destruction of your friends and other people.
In this episode,
lane 2, speed 130.
The BMW driver, who led police on a high-speed pursuit on the M1, pleaded guilty to dangerous driving, driving with no licence and no insurance, failing to provide a drugs test and possession of Class B drugs. He's currently awaiting sentencing. The 17-year-old who was driving a stolen car.
Car's been reported stolen, okay?
Yep.
Was released under investigation for theft of the car, but has been charged with driving without a licence and no insurance. No action has been taken for any drug driving offences.
Honestly,
The driver of the car full of suspected lorry thieves was reported for driving with no insurance.
Get out! Get out! Open the door now!
The passenger in the lorry containing stolen helmets, who had been arrested 4 weeks earlier, is currently released under investigation.
Whoa, what's going on, mate? You're a thief, mate, that's what you are. I've been doing nothing.
The lorry driver has also been released under investigation while the police further their inquiries.
The drawer of a McDonald's burger has made you steal a car.
The man who took his girlfriend's car was reported for driving the car without consent, no licence and no insurance. He's awaiting sentencing.
He's going to be arrested for causing death by dangerous driving.
And the driver who ploughed into a motorcyclist, killing her, pleaded guilty to causing death by dangerous driving.
I think that's positive for cocaine, what do you think?
He was retested at the police station for drugs, but despite showing trace amounts of cocaine in his system, it was not enough to take him over the prescribed legal limit. Police believe he may have experienced a microsleep, which caused the crash.
That is where somebody just literally blanks out, drifts off, and all of a sudden they come to. It is a tough lesson for a young driver to learn, and you've caused the death of somebody else, and you will never get over that. And everybody needs to be mindful of that.
He was sentenced to 6 months in prison, suspended for 2 years, 300 hours of community service, tagged for 6 months, and has been banned from driving for 2 years.